What's going on, boxing fans and the rest of YouTube? I just want to make a video real quick, try to be brief, because every time I make a video, man, it seems like 12, 13 minutes just goes by real quick. But anyways, this video is just about things I feel that might make better the sport of boxing a little bit if they implement these things in the sport. Number one, a topic I already talked about not too long ago, the belt situation. I feel there should be one belt per weight division. If we have one belt per weight division, obviously I think the top dog of the division will have that belt more than likely, and that'll avoid some of the ducking and dodging that is assumed, or if it is happening in the sport, that'll avoid some of the ducking and dodging. Even if they cut it down to just 2 belts, man, I could live with that. But 4 belts is just way too many belts, man. Way too many belts. They should cut it down to 1 belt, in my opinion, per weight division. But we could live with 2 belts. Second issue is I think fighters should weigh in the actual day of the fight. I think we should go back to how they did it back in the day. I think fighters should weigh in the day of the fight. Because a guy can come in the next day like literally 25 pounds heavier than his opponent. And, I know sizes and everything. I know Manny Pacquiao has proven that recently. But like I said, in general, I think it should, weigh-in should take place the day of the fight. I think they should have that implemented. I just feel too, I fight myself. I fight in the, I had fought at 147, but I fight usually at light welterweight, 140. And I know I can blow up overnight quick to 160, not a problem. I mean, I walk around really at like 158, 160, floating around. You know what I mean? Well, I could say 155, 160. I walk around in that range, depending on what I eat and all that, But I used to play football like in high school. I'm 24 now, just turned 24. But in high school, like I remember when I used to play football, I was like 175 pounds. For football, I used to lift a lot of weights. So, my body has natural muscle buildup over through the years. But I know I dropped down to, especially in boxing, it's a lot of running. It's running in football, but boxing, I never ran like this in my life. Running is like to another level, at least when I do it. So, that helped drop me down the weight real quick. But the furthest I can drop down to is like 140. But I know overnight I can rehydrate to 160. I just feel it's not fair if an opponent has a huge weight advantage over the guy he's fighting. I think they should have the weigh-in on the actual day of the fight. It's just my opinion. Next topic is what else? There should be blood testing. People might not like this, but I think the best way to do it is Olympic style blood testing. I'm not hopping on Mayweather's nuts, but I mean the idea makes sense to me, because in the interest of fairness, I'm about fair play. I'm about being neutral. No fighter should have a disadvantage over the other fighter in terms of enhancements enhancements, which could be anything, anything that's going to give you an edge over your opponent. I feel that's not fair. So there should be some type of blood testing, maybe not Olympic style, but the only way I can think of is Olympic style that would make it 100% accurate, because there are ways of going around the system. There's ways of beating around the bush. There's things that won't show up one day, but they'll show up the next day. And I know Olympic style blood testing it seems like it's cut down to a science. You know what I mean? It's cut down to a science, and there's a particular way they do it. I don't want to explain how they do it, because that's just gonna keep running time on this video. But everybody that knows about Olympic style blood testing, look into it and you'll see how they do it. There's no ways of getting anything by it when it's done the Olympic style way. What else? The other shit I'm gonna say is probably just minor shit. No. One more thing that I think is major. Referees have to follow the guidelines they're supposed to follow. You know what I mean? When they go to their little referee school, the shit you learn, you have to follow the guidelines you're supposed to follow. Take for instance, oh man, trying to think. Andre Ward versus Alan Green. Andre Ward fought Alan Green pinned up against the ropes damn near the whole fight. I can say at least, damn near the whole fight. He had him against the ropes pinned up. You know what I mean? Pretty much overall the whole fight. Now, he was fighting effectively while he was pinning him up against the ropes. He was fighting effectively. You know what I mean? But some judges would have broke that up. But not judges, excuse me, referees. Some referees would have broke that up, believe it or not, man. Some referees might have broke that up. You know, I don't want to name any names or nothing like that, but I seen some referees that break up every little thing, man. It's ridiculous. And if you watch boxing, I'm sure y'all seen it too. Referees that break up every little thing. Every time there's a clinch, they can't let the boxers fight out the clinch. You know what I mean? Some referees will say, fight out the clinch, now fight out. You know what I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? Let the fighters break themselves up. You know what I mean? Or sometimes the clinching is effective fighting, but some referees simply just will not allow it. They got to stick their head in every second of the fight, and that shit just makes the fight horrible, man. Every time the referee's butting in, like when he's butting in for no reason, it just makes the fight horrible. You know, I don't know, man. They should show the 24/7s. You know, I know it's costing HBO extra money out their pocket to film and record it and edit it, but I just think the fans pay. You know, we pay between $50 to $60 for, you know, to see these pay-per-view fights. They should have it for all the pay-per-view fights. They should have the 24/7. If they don't have it for every fight, hey, you know, it doesn't affect the sport in any way. It's just more so for the giving back to the fans, you know, kind of thing. But you know, I think 24/7s, the more they do them, even for fights that aren't pay-per-view fights, like Timothy Bradley and Devin Alexander. I like how they always do the face-offs nowadays. They're doing it. They did it for them, even fights that aren't pay-per-view fights. But you know, I think they should always do the face-offs, and they should always have a 24/7. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 4-part series. Since it's not a pay-per-view fight, maybe it could just be a 2-part series. You know what I mean? Just 2 shows. But I think that gets it out to the public. You know what I mean? Me personally, I don't watch UFC, but when people who watch UFC know what I'm talking about. When the Bull Rampage faced what was it? Rashad Evans. When it was Evans versus Rampage, I remember, I don't know if it was on Showtime, maybe I was flipping channels and they had this thing. It wasn't 24/7, it was far different, you know, but it was basically showing you their training, and it was showing them, they was talking trash back and forth, and I watched it, you know what I mean? And the next episode came on and I watched it. And you know, I just said, you know, I'm interested to see who's gonna win. You know, it just interests me, you know, the training, the trash talking going between both of them. You know, the sport MMA, you know, that doesn't really interest me. It doesn't interest me. I don't think it'll ever interest me to that point. I'll never be a fan of that sport, you know. But you know, I do respect, you know, that they are athletes also, and I you know, have respect for their sport. But it's just, you know, it ain't for me, you know. It doesn't interest me. But in all, I'm just saying, by them having that show, a look into the fighters' lives, it just made me interested to see the fight. Now, no way in hell was I paying for that pay-per-view. You know, I waited until, you know, the fight was over, and I think I went on, you know, YouTube or some type of live stream, and I caught the fight, you know. But it just gave me just a little bit of interest, you know, see what I'm saying, to see who they could use 24/7s for boxing. The more they put 24/7s out, you know what I mean, or, you know what I mean, the people start watching it and they get interested, like, man, these guys are talking trash or whatever, or these guys are, you know, watching them prepare and train, their trainers even going at it. It makes you have more interest for the fight, which will get your pay-per-view sales up. And if the people live in the state, hell, even ticket sales up, you know, to go to the actual fight. So, but like I said, man, if they don't implement it, it's not a big deal. You know, that's basically it. That's basically it. All I wanted to say. Give props to Showtime for doing the bantamweight tournament also, and doing the Super 6 middleweight tournament. It'd be nice if HBO could do a tournament as well, but of course we know the fighters will have to agree to it. So big up to the Showtime and the fighters for, you know, making that happen. I see the 140-pound weight class, you know, Khan and Madonna and Bradley and Alexander, and the winner's supposed to square off. So the fighters in their own way are trying to make a tournament. They're not backing down from each other, which is good. Which is good, man. Y'all can leave me comments and let me know what y'all think could better the sport, or anything that could be edited or, you know, tweaked to, you know, do the sport a little more justice, man. Flyweights 100, I'm out.